let's get into Predict the Prem. And if you don't know by now, it is only 1 point between us, 149 to Sim, 150 to myself. And the way the scoring works is 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result. And the star man, once you pick that man, you can't pick them again for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal. 2 points for an assist. And play along with us, guys, in the comments. Let us know your score predictions as we go through the games. And we're going to start off with a big game at Villa Park. Aston Villa against Manchester City. Both of us going for Villa wins here. Sim's gone for 1-0. I've gone for 2-1. Why 1-0?
It was 1-0 last year, if I remember, but I think Man City just look a team just so devoid of confidence, out on their feet at the moment. I was watching them in the Manchester derby. They didn't even look like they wanted to create chances. Like, they just looked so tired. There's clearly a lot of things wrong at the moment at Man City. And going to Villa Park, you need your energy levels to be really, really high to make sure you're getting beyond that Villa high line. And they're so aggressive. And Villa aren't in the best form themselves, but I'm sure they'll be up for it a bit more in this game. But I see them as well. They're so reliant on Watkins and stuff like that. I don't know how many. I'm sure they'll create chances, but I just got a feeling it's going to be 1 goal and they'll win the game, especially early kickoff as well. So 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, Villa are starting to score a few goals of late. I mean, they got 3 against Leipzig in the Champions League last week. They got 2 against, only 1 against Nottingham Forest. But actually, they did seem to hurt Leipzig quite a bit. I was watching that game in the Champions League.
Just
really,
like their manager, Leipzig.
Is that right? I mean, apparently Leipzig got like 0 points in the Champions League. That's nuts with the amount of games that they've played so far. Anyway, they scored 3 against Brentford as well a couple of weeks ago. And I do feel like that Aston Villa, when they play Man City at home, they do seem to find that extra bit of energy. John Duran as well, whenever he seems to play, he seems to put the ball in the back of the net. I'm just fed up of coming on these shows and just trying to back Man City up and predicting them to get points and to get a win. I mean, they just seem completely done at the moment, and they need to sign someone in January, and I don't think it changes until they do. And I fully believe they will do that. But until then, it's going to be hard for me to predict them to win, particularly away from home. So I've gone for 2-1 to Aston Villa. I still think Man City have got a threat, with the quality and the talent that they do have. But, I do think Villa are going to win this game. So I've gone for 2-1 to Aston Villa. Next up is Brentford against Nottingham Forest. Tim's gone for 2-2. I've gone for 3-2 to Brentford. Both these teams are well within their rights to think they can take 3 points in this game. Forest, obviously 4th in the table now, going really well under Nuno Espirito Santo. Brentford, the best home team in the league this season. They just seem to score goals for fun, but they also concede goals for fun at home as well. So I've gone for them just to nick it 3-2, but I've gone for a complete end-to-end game with plenty of goals.
Yeah, I just went for a draw just because Brentford can't keep winning every game at home. They're going to have to drop points at some point, surely. And Forest at home, I think, is one of those games where they'll go into it feeling on top of the world and so confident they'll get the win. But Forest, away from home, are very, very tricky opponents. And they've got such... Elanga, obviously, getting his first goal of the season on last week. So he'll be a bit more confident. Hudson-Odoi's got quality as well. And they got the likes of Gibbs-White, so I can really see them hurting this Brentford team. But Brentford just have a way of playing which makes them so efficient in that final third that I can see them really hurting Forest from set pieces and all different kind of avenues as well with Whistler and Buemo. So I went for an entertaining 2-2 draw here.
Well, you say they got us to drop points at home at some point. You know what their next 3 home games after this?
Is it like the top 3?
Arsenal, Man City and Liverpool.
Well, there you go.
So we'll see what happens there. But next up is Ipswich against Newcastle. Sim's gone for 2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah, really big win for Newcastle on the weekend against Leicester, beating 4-0. They needed their front players to start contributing a lot more. And they did that. Obviously, Isaac got a goal. Murphy got 2. And obviously, Bruno got on the score sheet. So it was a very big win for them. Very big win for Ipswich as well last week. Last-minute winner against Wolves, getting their manager sacked. And I've just gone for that little bit of quality in the final third to make the difference here. And I know Ipswich, tough nut to crack, even at Portman Road. But I think Newcastle just have a bit too much in this game. So I went for 2-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah, the thing is, I feel like these are the games that Newcastle sometimes screw up. You're looking at their away form, and it doesn't make for good reading. 0-0 at Goodison Park, a 2-1 loss to Chelsea. They went and beat Nottingham Forest, which was a big result. Then 1-1 against Crystal Palace, and they lost 4-2 at Brentford last time on the road. So I can never really trust Newcastle on the road. And I feel like, as well, Ipswich have drawn a hell of a lot of games this season. I feel like another one could be in the offing here, and it'll be a really good point for Ipswich at home to Newcastle. But probably 2 drop points for Newcastle going into it. So I've gone for 1-1. Next up is West Ham against Brighton. I've gone for 2-2 in this game. I think West Ham have turned a little bit of a corner of recent weeks. They're starting to get some positive results, and the performance levels seem to be a lot better. Brighton going through a bit of a sticky patch at the moment, but I still feel like it's going to be kind of yin versus yang, very defensive solidity that maybe West Ham are going to bring. They've got the attacking players that can hurt Brighton as well. But I think Brighton, they're going to want to respond massively for their fans. They've massively let down their fans with that performance and result against Crystal Palace, but I couldn't really split the side, so I've gone for 2-2.
Yeah, as you say, I think Brighton at the moment, not really playing well at all, I would say, over the last few games. 4 games ago, 1-1 draw at home to Southampton, where they should have lost, really. They got really poor result against Fulham, poor performance against Fulham, where they lost 3-1. Leicester, they were 2-0 up and conceded 2 late goals. And then really poor performance at home to Palace last time out, where they lost 3-1. And they seem to be really struggling against these teams that are soaking up pressure and counter-attacking against them. And they haven't, in the last 4 games, seemed to find an answer against that. And I think West Ham are kind of the perfect side for that, especially where their form's been improving, their performances have been improving. Paquetá go running over to Lopetegui after scoring that goal, that penalty against Bournemouth, and hugging him, showing that they're still backing that manager even though he's under serious pressure. And I think this is a big game for them, and I can see them really soaking up that pressure with the likes of Bowen, Kudus on the counter-attack. I think they're really well set up to win this game, so I'm going for a 2-1 home win to West Ham.
All right, let's move on to a big London derby at Selhurst Park, which will actually be the second game between them in the space of a week, because they play tonight in the Carabao Cup. But Sim's gone for 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1. I think Palace, 1 loss in the last 9 now. They're really starting to turn the corner in terms of form-wise and performance-wise. Massive win, confidence-boosting win against Brighton as well, showing that they have an ability to soak up pressure against good attacking sides and really hit them on the counter. And those 3 centre-backs, I'm starting to be really impressed by them, Guehi, Lacroix and Chalobah. So I think they've all got good technical ability, all very big, physical, fast centre-backs as well. And I really see Arsenal forward line struggling to break them down and struggling to get any sort of physical advantage. I think Havertz, he's at his best when he can physically get an advantage against his forward. And if he can't do that, he's quite easy to nullify. Obviously, the likes of Saka and Odegaard, they're very reliant on those 2 players, and also on set pieces. But I just feel like in this game, Palace, the form they're on, the very narrow pitch they play at Selhurst Park as well, not much space to play in, that 3 at the back who are very physical. It's going to be so hard for Arsenal, I feel like, to get the space they need in this game. And we saw how hard it was for them to break down the Everton side at the Emirates, which, 9 out of 10 seasons, they win that game 4-0. But just in these recent weeks, they're really struggling to find those opportunities. And I see Palace also being unforgiving here. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I've actually gone for 2-1 to Crystal Palace in this game. I've gone for Arsenal to lose. Lacroix actually came out before today and said, we're playing really well at the moment. No team want to come and face us. And I kind of do agree with him at the moment. You're looking at their team, right? They've got really good talent all over the park. They've got Munoz at right wing back, who's playing unbelievably well at the moment. He seems to be a threat. You've got Mitchell at left wing back, who seems to be playing really well at the moment. Ismail Assar just put in his best performance in a Crystal Palace shirt in the derby against Brighton, 2 goals and an assist. You've got Eberechi Eze there and Mateta, and everyone knows the qualities that they bring. You've got the 3 centre backs who are top quality as well, which you've just spoken about, and you've got the physical presence of Hughes and Lerma in the middle of the park. So I'm looking at this Crystal Palace side. They've turned the corner now. They've got over the hump that they had in the early stages of the season, and I think they're going to be a really tough nut to crack, and I think they're going to keep growing up, climbing the league table now. Against an Arsenal side who are not really creating much at the moment. They are hard to beat in terms of defensively, but I feel like with the likes of Eberechi Eze, who can pick a lock, and you've got Ismail Assar and Mateta, who know where the back of the net is, I feel like Crystal Palace at home can actually get the better of Arsenal this weekend. So I've gone for 2-1 to Crystal Palace, and a big Arsenal implosion in terms of the fan base incoming.
That'll be brilliant.
So we'll see about that. But let's move on to Everton against Chelsea. Sim's gone for 1-1. I've gone for 1-0 to Chelsea. I feel Chelsea will just about get over the line in a really difficult game. Everton, not really scoring many goals at the moment, but definitely not conceding many goals either. 0-0 draw last time out against Arsenal, but I feel like Chelsea are going to provide a bit of a different threat here and a much more attacking threat, which Chelsea have got, bundles of talent in that forward line. They're not losing many games at Goodison Park, but I feel like this is one that they will end up losing. But just about, I think it's going to be very tight, 1-0.
Yeah, I went for 1-1 just because Everton, off the back of that draw against Arsenal away from home, that'll give them a lot of confidence that they can kind of hold strong, sit deep, and they can keep Chelsea out. They're so strong from set pieces as well. I'm still, again, not convinced about Chelsea's defending. I think they're going to be vulnerable from set pieces in this game, in my opinion. I think Everton could find an advantage there. But I don't think Everton will be good enough to keep them out like they did against Arsenal. So I do see them conceding a goal, but I just feel like at Goodison Park, at home, off the back of a really great draw against Arsenal, I feel like they're going to take that confidence into this game. So I've gone for a 1-1 draw here.
And also with Everton, they've only lost one game at home all season, and that was the first game of the season, or first home game of the season against Bournemouth.
Brighton.
Bournemouth
or Brighton? They lost at home to Brighton.
No, that was the first two. Then they lost.
First two.
Yeah, but yeah, they're going really well at home this season, no doubt about it. Let's move on to Fulham against Southampton. Sim's gone for 3-0 to Fulham. I've gone for 2-0. I mean, no real explanation there. We know Fulham, unbelievable at Craven Cottage. Southampton, just on the back of sacking their manager. Is there going to be a bit of a bounce since the manager's gone? Are they going to set? We have no idea how Southampton are going to set up, because we're going into the completely unknown. But I think Marco Silva will have enough about, and Fulham will have enough about them to get over the line.
Yeah, I've gone for 3-0. Fulham are in great form. They've played some really top teams and come out on top, albeit a few weeks ago they did the end of a 4-1 loss to Wolves at home. But Southampton, I don't see them sitting deep. And even if they do they have that quality to keep out a Fulham side who are in really confident mood and are playing really good football at the moment? And this is a game where I think Fulham will be licking their lips. Time to get 3 points on the board and rack up the goals. So I've gone for a 3-0 win for Fulham.
Moving on to Leicester against Wolves. Both of us gone for the same scoreline here in Desmond, 2-2. And again, another really hard game to kind of analyse, because Wolves have just sacked Gary O'Neill. We don't know how they're going to set up in this game. Leicester have just had their first loss under Ruud van Nistelrooy. And I feel like for Wolves, this is you'd probably prefer it at home, but in terms of opposition, one of the better teams they could come up against just after sacking their manager. And I feel like it could be a really open end-to-end game. I feel like Wolves do have a bit more quality than Leicester, particularly in the forward line. But then again, Leicester do have the ageing Jamie Vardy, who just seems to be timeless. Yeah. So I think it'll be a nice open game of football here. Goals at both ends, but couldn't really split them.
Yeah, I feel like with Gary O'Neill gone, the shackles might be off here for Wolves, where I feel like he's obviously a very pragmatic manager who likes to counter-attack, doesn't like to dominate. But with him gone, and obviously they haven't hired the new manager yet, I don't think. Maybe in time for this game, but he's in the works. I think Pereira is his name. I think the shackles might be off in this game. They might pour more men forward. They might attack Leicester. And I think it'll actually suit Wolves and against a team like Leicester who are not great defensively. And I also think it'll suit a team like Leicester who like to play teams who are a bit more open, need that space in the forward line to make the difference. And I think it could, as you say, I think both teams will give as good as they get here. So Leicester have conceded a lot of shots in the past 3 games, even though Ruud has got 4 points out of them. They do concede lots of chances. But if Wolves do let the shackles off a bit, then I think I can see Leicester creating chances here as well. So 2-2.
And it also could be Cunha's last game before this ban that's coming.
He's been charged, but apparently they could appeal it. I'm not sure. Which, I mean, I don't know what he's appealing. He clearly grabs the guy's face. So he's getting banned. That's for sure. He grabbed a coach's glasses and then took the glasses off. I mean, how many games do you reckon he gets? Because Kuda's got 5. Kuda's got 5 actually. for 2 counts. For 2 counts of 7. He got 5, then extended
7. True. Do you reckon he gets like close to 10 games?
Well, Kudus was punching people, was slapping people in the face, so it was similar to that.
So you reckon 5. 7?
Between 5 and 7. Kudus is one though. He got sent off and then it got extended twice. I think it got extended to 5 and then was it 3 to 5 or was it 5 to 7? I can't remember, but. I don't know I think Cunha's didn't get sent off, so he's just going to get 1 ban.
I think it was 3 to 5.
Was it 3 to 5?
I think it was 3 to 5.
So, yeah. But then he got an extra one, I think, because he was going to be back, and then he got banned for like another one.
Was it 6?
Maybe it was 6. I can't remember. So I think it'll be probably 5 for Cunha.
I'm just checking with Kudus, like how many games he was suspended for. It says here he was only. Nah, that can't be right. Well, when was the Tottenham games? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 games he was out for.
Out of 5 games, okay.
So I would say probably Cunha gets... I think he'll get more than Kudus, maybe just 1 game more or something.
Fair enough.
But if that...
Just because it wasn't a player, it was a coach.
Yeah, and it was just completely... at least like Kudus was in a match as well. Like it was completely uncalled for just after the game against a coach. I think they will try and make a bit of an example out of him. And if he is out for 6 games... I mean, where does that leave Wolves? Because they're sitting 9 points after 16 games. Let's say he gets banned after this game for the next 6 games or 5 games, whatever. I mean, that takes away their biggest and only threat, really.
As I say, they're so reliant on him. They're
That's
like a
what I'm
one-man
saying,
team.
right.
So, I don't know. Big trouble.
All right, well, let's go to Manchester United against Bournemouth. Both of us gone for 2-1 to Man United here.
Yeah, I've gone for Man United to win. I think it's going to be... Again, like I say, with a lot of Man United games, probably unconvincing, probably a stodgy performance. Bournemouth are very well organised, very well set. They press so well, but they're not the best travellers. So I think United's quality might shine through at home. And I think the way they set up as well could exploit a bit of what Bournemouth give. So I think Bournemouth will play well. They'll create chances, but I think United will take the points, 2-1.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Man U will soak up a lot of the pressure that Bournemouth give. I mean, Bournemouth... You never know which kind of Bournemouth are going to turn up. They're so up and down at the moment. And Man United and Ruben Amorim, he's just trying to feel his way through and find out what his best side is. I don't think he doesn't know it just yet. But I think Bournemouth, particularly away from home, aren't as good as they are at the Vitality. So I feel like Man United could get the better of them this weekend. So I've gone for 2-1 to Man United. Next up is a big game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham against Liverpool. Sim has gone for 3-2 to Liverpool. I have gone for 2-1 to Liverpool. And we spoke about in our preview for the Man United game how the biggest test for Archie Gray and Radu were as a pairing was that game against Man United. Well, this is an even bigger test against this Liverpool side who are massively consistent. Have drawn their last 2 games, so are we playing a bit of a wounded animal? Do they need to get? Will they feel the need to get back to winning ways as well with the best player in the league at this moment in time in Mohamed Salah? I feel like Spurs could be on the back of that, and I feel like Spurs will probably turn up and they'll feel like they can hurt Liverpool in terms of defensively because they have started conceding a few more goals in this latter stage of the season. Than they have done maybe in the earlier stage. So I feel we can get at them, but I feel like they'll just be too strong for us. So 2-1.
Yeah, in the last couple of games you've seen with Liverpool, they can be got at. Newcastle and Fulham have both showed that. They've both created chances and both scored goals. 5 goals in the last 2 games they've conceded. And I think Tottenham will be looking at that. Trent at the back, Joe Gomez at centre-back as well. Robinson's not having a great time of it, although he'll be out as well with a red card. And Tsimikas is injured. So, again, will Gomez have to move to left-back and maybe Quansah comes in, even more makeshift back line for Liverpool. So I definitely think Spurs will be thinking we can get at this back line for sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tottenham take a lead again in this game. But Liverpool have also shown in the last couple of games that even if they concede, they have this never-say-die attitude and they've got the quality to back it up. And do I see Tottenham withstanding the pressure that Newcastle and Fulham both inevitably actually you have to say they succumbed to it, to be honest, because Newcastle were winning 2-1 and Liverpool turned it around and made it 3-2 and it was a last-minute howler, and Fulham were an extra man up and they couldn't hold on to their lead. Such was the pressure of Liverpool. So do I see Spurs with their makeshift backline and probably tired after Thursday because I'm sure Liverpool rest players in midweek and we won't, and we're going to have to play a lot of the same players. So are we going to be able to withstand the pressure that Newcastle and Fulham succumb to? I just don't think so. And we also crumbled against Chelsea as well. So I think we'll probably fall to a defeat here. So 3-2.
All right, let's move on to the star men, and it's a Fulham head-to-head. And you know what that means? It means none of them are getting points. But Sim's gone for Raul Jimenez, and I've gone for Alexander Iwobi against a fragile Southampton defence.
Yeah, Jimenez will be licking his lips on this opportunity. He's having a good season at the moment. I think this will be a good opportunity for him to get a couple more goals, so I've gone for him.
Yeah, Iwobi has been brilliant this season. I mean, how many has he got? He's got 5 goals and 3 assists this season. Has he got more goals than Jimenez?
I think they're the same.
Same, which is incredible in terms of Iwobi. But yeah, it's definitely if it's going to come from anywhere, it's going to come from one of these two. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll see what happens. That is our predictions. Let us know who you think will come out on top and what your predictions are in the comment section below.